Hello, this is Gates Wommet with IT Connector, and today we're going to talk about something I'm very passionate about. It's digital transformation. Before we get into digital transformation and why am I talking to you, an MSP, about digital transformation, because you deal with small, medium businesses, and isn't digital transformation really something for the big enterprises? And what I'll tell you is absolutely, absolutely not. And the key really is you, the MSP, and your relationship with your small, medium business customer. So to define digital transformation, really it's taking a customer who does business in a certain way and they have certain offerings, and how do you get it to the next level where all of a sudden perhaps they have a new source of revenue they haven't had before, or they fulfill support requirements in different ways that maybe their competition doesn't do. So digital transformation today allows you, the MSP, to help your SMEs really become, level the playing field with the enterprises. But it all comes down to the technology and the vision that's brought to them, given to you by the MSP. So today, if that's the definition of digital transformation, to narrow it down even more simply, we're going to look specifically at Microsoft products and how those would apply as part of a digital transformation journey. Digital transformation itself, again, it's big mystery oftentimes, but if you narrow it down, you specify specifically, I'm going to break it down into 3 chunks, where initially I'm going to basically educate my partner or my SME on what they have. I'm going to basically help them advance the technologies or the utilization of those technologies in their day-to-day business. And then ultimately, within that 3-year window, 3-year roadmap you're building, from a partnership perspective with your end users, you want to help them identify opportunities for them to outperform their competition. Okay? So taking a step back, looking at Microsoft technologies, and the great thing about Microsoft technologies in the context of digital transformation is that your customers are already using it. You're already using it. If you've provided your customer, or your customer is using things like Outlook or Exchange, Excel, or PowerPoint, the vast majority of their company's data is in those end user products. If you think about it. Now, Microsoft obviously has recognized this and has made it even easier for partners, Microsoft CSPs, cloud solution providers, to take advantage of that. As a most basic example, if I look at data being in the Office suite of products that I just mentioned, you can now all of a sudden much more easily integrate it with, I'll call it a system of record, whether it's a SQL Server database, whether it's a CRM system, or an ERP system. And Microsoft has a Dynamics family that has now very nice integration as well, and increasingly so with their Office suite of products. Okay, so now you have the data in your Office 365, you're using it in your ERP or CRM system. You want to know what is in that data after you've basically captured it. Give yourself an opportunity to analyze things. And Microsoft technologies that would apply in this part of your journey would be Power BI. Power BI allows you to do a what if, or not a what if, I'm sorry, but a kind of a view back on historical things. What has happened? How has it happened? Why has it happened? Okay? Moving beyond that, again, along the digital transformation journey, because again, you're moving from the, educating your customer to helping them advance their understanding of their business, and then you ultimately want to get to the outperform part, outperform stage of digital transformation. The next part now is, okay, I know what data I have and where it's come from, and what it meant to my business. Now, what if I want to do what if kind of scenarios? That's when you start getting into things like Microsoft machine learning or Microsoft AI products. And Microsoft defines AI very differently than a lot of traditional competitors do in the space. It's much more functional within a Microsoft world, things like chatbots, things like that, related things. So you can really actually get into AI and machine learning with Microsoft fairly easily. Again, you would apply that to the same data that you basically help the customer understand where their data is. So machine learning and AI then become a way to go to the next level. And if you look at depending on the vertical industry you're in, there might also be specific applications. Again, Microsoft technologies, like Microsoft Azure IoT, Internet of Things, IoT. Typically, a good foundation is in a manufacturer where they're going to want to get new data every day from their systems or from their products that they sell, okay? So Azure IoT, again, is another technology along the digital transformation journey that can be used now to capture new sets of data and put that into that repository you have knowing that the repository you have is a good and valid representation of your data. Finally, now you've had the opportunity to capture the data, identify where it is, manage it, and do queries around it. What if? Now, if you want to look at the data in different ways, you have tools like Hololens. So Microsoft Hololens actually is a fascinating way to look at data. If you, for example, are using a field service application, you've got products in the field, washers, dryers, whatever kind of things it is, cars, and you want to basically understand how do you replace a certain component, how do you fix something, your field service people. And as you're bringing on new people on board, you want to represent the data that you have more easily so that they can see it. That's where the role of HoloLens comes in, augmented reality. Again, a Microsoft product, and you basically use that to basically represent the data in different ways. So your field service technician, for example, if you have field service, can now basically go on site and have a more graphical representation of what it is that they're servicing, get a better view of best practices in terms of servicing that, and those kind of things. So now you have a different, if you look at the life cycle of your data and how you massage it, analyze it, and now represent it to your field service, all of a sudden you have different use cases. Finally, when you put this all together, right, you look at Azure. We mentioned Azure a little bit, but Azure, just as a cloud enabler, allows you to basically do integration across processes across the Microsoft products as well as with third-party products, right? So the whole thing with Azure really is it allows you to do best-in-class integration as you need to make your products work more seamlessly together. And finally, the last part is as we move to the use of data, and use an MSP for your end user, you want to help them understand the benefits of collaboration. Again, field service, you bring someone out, they get a representation of things, but maybe it's something that's never been seen before, so now you want that person in the field to collaborate back to home office, right? And something like a Skype or Teams nowadays would allow them to do that. So what I've tried to cover today, covered a lot of areas, covered the importance of data from a digital transformation journey. We talked about the Microsoft products that address each of these areas, from the data, capture, data cataloging of the data, analysis of the data, refreshing of the data through IoT, representation of the data through HoloLens, okay? Basically, so if your customer has products today that allow them to start on that digital transformation journey, really the only thing that's stopping them from doing something is having someone like such as yourself, an MSP, that can help them start moving forward on this transformation journey. So as a next step, if you haven't been to a Microsoft center in your local neck of the woods, they all have HoloLens now. They can all start showing you some of these transformation journeys live, and great opportunity for you as a Microsoft partner to bring your customers to these Microsoft centers and start really start leading your customer towards digital transformation. Thank you.